Welcome to our regular Faroese news report. We're bringing you the latest updates from across the North Atlantic today.
Yes, we've got quite a range looking at everything from security matters to um, social debates, infrastructure, and even some powerful natural forces at play.
Exactly. We'll cover geopolitical security in the North Atlantic, then domestic social and welfare debates in the Faroes, followed by logistics, infrastructure, and innovation, and finally, a look at Iceland's restless giant, Hekla.
We'll stick to the facts and the core arguments presented in our sources.
Right. The goal is to give you a clear picture of what's happening based on the information available. Okay, let's start with those news reports. First up, Greenland. Defense and security are definitely key topics there right now.
Indeed. The Danish defense minister, Troels Lund Poulsen, has been quite clear. Denmark is seeking a more permanent military footing in Greenland.
More permanent. Is this just talk, or is there something more concrete?
It seems pretty concrete. There's an internal document suggesting it'll be a focus in the Arctic package. 2 negotiations coming up in September.
Oh.
And the aim, apparently, is to set up a unit for what they're calling minor tactical tasks.
Minor tactical tasks. Interesting phrasing. But how does Greenland see this? They often stress wanting to keep tensions low, right?
That's the balancing act, precisely. Vivian Motzfeldt, Greenland's Minister for Foreign Affairs, she emphasizes that low-tension approach. But, she also acknowledges the global situation has changed. There's a feeling Greenland needs to, step up its own security efforts. She's encouraging voluntary participation in defense.
Voluntary participation. And wasn't there talk of something innovative like local rangers?
Yes, the Greenland Rangers idea. It's inspired by Canada, actually, using civilian units.
How would that work?
Basically, local citizens, especially in really remote spots like East Greenland, would report anything unusual they see directly to Arctic Command.
Ah, using local eyes and ears.
Exactly. In those huge, empty areas that local knowledge is invaluable. Makes sense.
It does sound practical. Okay, shifting gears now from defense to logistics. Let's head over to Iceland and its postal service issues.
Right. Iceland's poster. This is a really good example of how global rules can suddenly hit home.
What happened?
They've had to halt parcel deliveries to the U.S. started this week. It's all down to new American customs regulations.
New regulations imposed quickly, you said.
Yeah, apparently at very short notice. The big change is that transport companies, like the Postal Service, now have to classify customs even for ordinary mail parcels.
For just regular packages.
Exactly. The CEO, Þórhildur Olaf Helgadóttir, she called it unprecedented for everyday shipments. It's a big new administrative task.
I can imagine. Is it just Iceland facing this?
No, she mentioned other European postal services are hitting the same wall, so they're hoping the procedures can be adapted quickly. But for now, it's a stop.
Creates a real bottleneck then. It's amazing how interconnected things are. A customs rule change impacting daily mail.
It really is. Okay, from logistical snags to future tech, let's briefly touch on artificial intelligence in the Faroe Islands.
Yes, a look ahead. Nikolai Morabale, he's the director of Talgildu Faroyum, that's Digital Faroe Islands.
Yep.
He spoke about AI's potential.
What was his take?
He stressed it's not just, hype. He sees AI having a real significant impact on society, and specifically helping tackle sustainability challenges in the Faroes.
So they're actively looking at practical applications, not just talking about it.
Seems that way, thinking about how it can solve actual local problems.
Interesting. Okay, well, while technology looks to the future, let's not forget the raw natural power in the region. Our last factual report takes us back to Iceland and a certain volcano.
Hekla, yes, one of the really big names. The scientists at the Institute of Earth Sciences are keeping a very close eye on it.
How do they do that? What are they measuring?
They use incredibly precise methods, measuring magma pressure, land rise. They've even got this 200-meter-long instrument they call a giant spirit level, basically tracking tiny crustal movements. A giant spirit level?
Oh.
That paints a picture. What's it telling them now?
Well, the data is quite striking. Hekla last erupted back in 2000. Before that, 1980. So it's been a while.
Okay.
The key thing is the land inflation they're measuring now, it's double the level they saw just before that 2000 eruption.
Double.
And they estimate magma is building up underneath at about 250 to 500 liters per second.
Per second. That sounds enormous. Can you put that in perspective?
It is. I mean, think of maybe an Olympic pool filling up underground every few hours. It's relentless pressure building up. And the fact it's double the pre-2000 rate is well, significant.
Right. What about its history? Doesn't Hekla erupt fairly often, usually?
Historically, yes.
Mm.
For about a century, it went off roughly every 10 years, until that 2000 eruption. Now, these measurements, they don't give a date, of course.
No crystal ball.
No. But they clearly show Hekla is, quote, ready to erupt at any time. Could be tomorrow, could be 50 years. Impossible to say for sure.
Ready at any time. That's quite a statement, a real reminder of the forces just beneath the surface there.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've covered those factual reports. Now let's shift our focus slightly to the realm of debate, opinion, and political positioning. These often tell us a lot about the underlying currents in a society.
Where the tensions and discussions lie.
Exactly. Let's start back in the Faroes with that debate over banning certain Russian fishing vessels. What are the main arguments?
Well, the Faroes foreign minister put forward this proposal, right, to ban specific Russian fishing boats from Faroes ports and waters. This is based on pretty strong suspicions they might be involved in espionage.
Espionage. Okay, that's serious. Who's backing this ban?
Anna Falkenberg, she's an MP for Sambandsflokken and the Danish Folketing. She's strongly for it. She argues it's vital for the Faroes to show solidarity with, neighbors in the West.
So a geopolitical signal.
Yes, and she warns that not acting could actually harm the Faroes' position within Europe.
Is there opposition to this?
Oh, yes. Jacob Vestergaard, he's an MP for Folkeflokurin, the People's Party. He's against blacklisting. His core argument is Faroes sovereignty, essentially. No one should tell us what to do.
A stance on independence of action. How does Falkenberg respond to that?
She challenges it directly. She asks how you can claim to be against war, but still allow access to ships from companies like Norrebo and Murmansk Seafood.
Why those companies specifically?
They're widely suspected of having links to Putin and potentially funding Russia's war efforts in Ukraine. She points out that Norway and the EU have already blacklisted these specific ships.
Ah, so the Faroes are currently the exception in Europe.
That's right. Currently they are. So it really frames the debate not just as an economic one, but as one about security, shared values, and where the Faroes position themselves. It's that classic tension between pragmatism and principle.
A very clear dilemma. Okay, let's move to another deeply felt issue in the Faroes. Deportation terms after violent crime. There's this specific case causing debate involving a knife attack and only a 5-year ban.
Yes, it's generated a lot of strong reactions. First, you have the victim's account, Paul Esper Hansen. He described a premeditated attack, a large Rambo knife, 13.5-centimeter blade.
Horrifying.
Absolutely. He said he was fortunate to survive, thanks to an initial blow letting him defend himself. He talked about the lasting fear, his family checking rooms at home for a long time afterwards. Deeply traumatic.
Understandably so. And how is the 5-year deportation term being viewed in light of that? You mentioned criticism from Herger Schietzberg.
Staksberg calls it, flat out, an insult. His point, and it resonates in the Faroes, is that it's a small community, only 55,000 people.
Right, not like a big city.
Exactly. Not like Copenhagen, where you might never see the person again. Here, the victim could easily encounter their attacker just 5 years later. He also points to past cases where offenders have returned after 5 years and committed new crimes.
So it's the specific context of a small society amplifying the fear and the perceived inadequacy of the term.
Precisely. And there's data, too. Studies from places like Norway and Denmark suggest reoffending rates for serious crimes can be around 25–30% within 5 years.
That's quite high.
It is. And that context fuels the calls you hear for much longer bans, even permanent deportation for such violent attacks. At least 15–20 years is what's being suggested.
A stark contrast to the current 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, staying with related themes, let's broaden out from criminal deportation to general immigration policy. Folkeflokurin, the People's Party, has concerns here too.
Yes. They acknowledge the law minister's proposal for mandatory criminal record checks for foreigners seeking jobs. They see it as a positive step, but
not sufficient.
Exactly. They argue it's not enough. They're pointing to what they term a hidden influx.
Hidden? What do they mean by that? What's the mechanism?
They highlight the rules around family reunification. Spouses and children under 18 can join the main applicant. The requirements, they argue, are minimal, maybe just 1.5 to 2 years living together beforehand. And importantly, these accompanying spouses can get free work permits, often with fewer strings attached than the main applicant, who might be tied to one employer, minimum hours, and so on.
So the concern is about the follow-on effect, the total number of people arriving through these channels.
That's the core of it. They worry about the pace of growth in immigrant numbers and the resulting costs. integration costs for municipalities, schools, healthcare, and public services.
And they're asking a fundamental question.
Yes. How many people can Faroe society realistically integrate and support financially, given its scale and structure? It really throws into sharp relief the unique pressures on these small island nations, doesn't it?
It does, balancing openness with sustainability. Which brings us nicely to the next topic, reforming the Faroes welfare system itself. Johan Dahl from Sambandsflokken has outlined some proposals.
He has. He's addressing the demographic and financial pressures head on. One big focus is digitalization.
Digitalization, how so?
Expanding existing platforms like Vangen to be more like Denmark's Borger.dk, which is a kind of one-stop digital shop for citizens' tax, health benefits, child support, all that.
The idea being efficiency.
Exactly. Faster processing, less paperwork, less duplication between agencies, and ultimately significant cost savings.
Makes sense. What else is he suggesting?
Mergers and collaboration, bringing together similar institutions or municipal departments. He gives examples like health services, technical departments, elderly care, again aiming to cut overlap and improve service delivery.
Streamlining the structure.
And also centralized purchasing, getting public bodies to buy goods and services together, like Denmark does with its SGI system, to get better prices.
Bulk buying, essentially. Any measures aimed at staffing levels.
Yes, he talks about possibly capping the growth of public administration. Maybe a 1-for-2 rule, hire one person back for every 2 that leave, or setting annual efficiency targets for departments. The aim is to push resources towards frontline services, away from admin.
And accountability.
Right. Reintroducing performance management, setting clear goals and ways to measure if public institutions are actually achieving them, making sure there are results.
It sounds like a comprehensive reform package. He gave health as an example.
He did, suggesting consolidation there, perhaps bringing together Heilsutrid, the health insurance, Apoteksverket, the pharmacy service, and the municipal health functions. It really poses that fundamental question for small nations.
How to balance those core welfare values with the need to modernize, become more efficient, digitally transform, all while facing financial constraints.
It's a huge challenge.
It certainly is. Okay, a lot to consider there on the social and political front. Let's move now to our final segment, logistics, infrastructure, and innovation, how things and people move. Starting with the ferry issue on the Suðuroy route. Sounds serious.
Very serious. According to Troy municipality, the mayor, Kristen Mikkelsen, put out an appeal. The main ferry, Smyril, is out of action for 10 weeks for docking.
Okay, standard maintenance. What's the problem?
The replacement ferry, the Galaxy, is much smaller and slower. Mikkelsen said it's like going back to the 1970s in terms of transport. She used strong words. Islanders becoming hostages in their own country.
Wow. Hostages. What are the practical impacts of using this smaller ferry?
Quite severe. Fewer trips per week, down from 18 double trips to 14. The journey takes longer, about 2.5 hours each way, and the capacity is drastically cut.
How much lower?
Smyril takes nearly 1,000 passengers and over 220 cars. Galaxy, only 350 passengers and 140 vehicles. Plus, it can't carry dangerous goods.
That's a massive difference. Must disrupt everything.
It does. Weekend events, especially sports teams traveling, daily commutes, deliveries, everything is harder. And apparently, the government had a chance back in 2024 to buy a suitable replacement ferry, the Volcano de Tabriante, similar to Smyril, but rejected it.
Ouch. And the result? Now.
Predictably, passenger car tickets on the Galaxy are selling out weeks in advance, already booked solid 14 days ahead.
A real infrastructure crunch. Okay, let's quickly revisit that Icelandic postal issue we mentioned earlier.
Right, Iceland's post are halting U.S. parcels because of those new, sudden U.S. customs rules requiring them to classify ordinary mail, still causing headaches and impacting other European post offices, too. They're hoping for a fix soon.
A reminder of those global interdependencies. And finally, back to AI in the Faroes for a moment.
Yes, just reinforcing that point from Nikolai Morbal at Tel Gildu Faroyum. Seeing AI not just as tech, but as a tool with real potential to solve societal issues, particularly around sustainability in the Faroes context.
So from vital ferry links and international mail rules to embracing AI, managing how things connect, and adopting new tech is clearly central to life and growth in the North Atlantic.
Absolutely. And it's fascinating how all these stories, though different, touch on those core regional challenges. Security, connectivity, sustainability, community well-being. They all demand really careful thought and proactive planning.
Thank you for joining us for this news report covering these crucial topics shaping the North Atlantic. Like and subscribe to Pulse Fundamentals for more content like this. Sources linked below.